For God is the King of all the earth. So sing praises with understanding. God reigneth over the heathen. He sits upon the throne of his holiness. The princes of the people are gathered together, even the people of the God of Abraham. For the shields of the earth belong to God. He is greatly exalted. Like we've already known, God is the King of the earth, but importantly, the shields of the earth belong to God. You're probably wondering, what is the shields of the earth that this psalm is referring to? A shield protects you from darts and bullets. God is the gatekeeper of the tools of protection. So, regardless of who seems to be running things in the world, whether it's a system of kings or rich people or cartels or whatever they may be, there is a shield of protection against all those things for those who carry out the kingdom will. The kingdom of God is obviously ruled by God. He is the king of the kingdom. We are young chiefs or young princes of the kingdom. So you have to understand, as priests and kings of a kingdom of which there is one king, who is the ultimate king, we represent and therefore are protected so that we can complete our purpose here and then move on to the manifested kingdom, which is a whole other ballgame. Now, for those of you who want to know more about God, Jesus, who he is, just ask him. And if you want him in your life, just ask him. It's that simple. Let's get into some of the movies and videos, ladies and gentlemen. I finished watching Rogue One. I believe it was a night or so ago. I think Saturday night I watched Rogue One. Really awesome movie. I gotta say, it does connect The New Hope, which is episode 4, with episode 3 to some degree, because it gives you some details. It fills in some gaps between what happened with the formation of Darth Vader, which was basically episode 3, and the retreat or escape into hiding by Obi-Wan Kenobi and the twins of Anakin Skywalker. It sort of kind of fills in that gap somewhat. Okay. What's interesting is there's a sort of flow to things. If you look at Star Wars Battlefront 2, at least the trailer that I recently watched, the reveal trailer, sort of picks up where The New Hope ends. So if you were to watch, for instance, Star Wars Rogue One, and then you were to look at The New Hope, and then you were to look at the video game Battlefront 2, in a way, at least the trailer of Battlefront 2 picks up sort of where The New Hope ends. So I thought that was very interesting, and I just wanted to weave that little tapestry for you guys to think about if you were going to play the video games. Of course, the video games goes through many different eras in the Star Wars story, but the particular trailer that they used was very interesting because it picked up from where Rogue One sort of ended. Not Rogue One, sorry. The New Hope sort of ended. So you can get some kind of texture, you can get some kind of feel between, and you can see the perspective of someone who was working with the Empire, how they viewed what the rebels were able to succeed in doing. Now, as we talked about Rebels, Star Wars Rebels is actually also interesting because in Star Wars Rebels there is some connectivity, there's some tissue that actually links to the Death Star as well. So there's a number of times where some of the same themes that flew through Star Wars Rogue One, Battlefront 2 trailer, and Star Wars Rebels. There's some texture to it. Of course, Star Wars Rebels was way before Star Wars Rogue One, but still you can see that there was a battle star, there was a Death Star that was actually being formed during that duration of time. So there's an overlap between Star Wars Rebels, Rogue One, The New Hope, and Battlefront 2. At least the reveal trailer part of it that we saw. So I thought this was interesting for me to just share with you guys, as you guys probably movie buffs like I am. And of course, a big Star Wars buff. I watched the Clone Wars when they were first 2D animation, then they became 3D animation. I was then totally drawn into Star Wars Rebels, which again has flushed out and has brought a certain degree of connectivity between what happened when Anakin Skywalker turned to the dark side, became Darth Vader, and what happened when the Empire was fully established. The Clone Wars, the Empire was just forming. Star Wars Rebels kind of picks up where the Empire has been kind of established, and you have an Emperor, and we have Darth Vader and some other people in that universe. So I thought this was a very interesting. Star Wars Rebels is very interesting. I think Star Wars Rebels may lead up to Rogue One at some point in time. The connectivity it will connect those missing pieces. So I really like what they're doing with the Star Wars franchise, how they're kind of flushing out everything and giving this flow to things. We know that basically Star Wars, the Clone Wars, kind of flushed out and brought up to a certain point Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi's relationships, and flushed out some of the things that happened in between. And that kind of crystallizes Episode 3. Okay, it helps us to kind of understand Episode 3 to some degree. And Rebels kind of picks up after Episode 3. So there's all this. The Rebels is after Episode 3. We have Rogue One kind of fitting in between Episode 3 and The New Hope, which is Episode 4. So I'm really liking what they're doing with the Star Wars franchise. I've always been interested in the adventure and the huge universe and world that they have in Star Wars. I think that now I think Star Wars was the first to really do a universe, right? Star Wars really, there were some others like Buck Rogers and so on, but they weren't series of movies and television shows, right? Now we have the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Possibly we will have, well, we already sort of have an X-Men universe, and then we also have possibly an extension of a sort of Marvel Cinematic Universe that Sony's looking to start. And of course we have the DCEU, which is DC's Cinematic Universe, extended universe. I like that we have all of these comic book movies coming to the fore. There's nothing wrong with that, and the more the merrier, to be honest with you. Even Transformers has its own universe, going on there. And that's not so much a universe, though. They haven't really expanded outwards. But the DCEU, to me, is, because I'm kind of scientific in mindset, I like the DCEU the most. As much as I like Star Wars for its adventure and so on, I still don't believe Star Wars is as deep as the DCEU can be and will be. And the DCEU will challenge your perceptions of reality, the perceptions of the world, and it will do it in a scientific sort of way, which I just totally, completely buy into. So I'm all on board for the DCEU. I'm on board for Wonder Woman and, Justice League, and then all the individual movies. I'm really looking forward. I'm hyped to seeing it. I think Zack Snyder, one of the wonderful things nobody can disagree with is the way how he's able to capture the comic book action of these characters, unlike any other cinematic universe to date. No cinematic universe I've seen, not Marvel Cinematic Universe. They still have problems trying to capture the Hulk and how he moves. I really wasn't impressed with Thor Ragnarok. I see a lot of people who are Marvel fans, they really were carried away with that, and more power to them. But it never impressed me at all. In fact, it kind of came across as flippant and weak, to be honest with you. I liked some of the special effects where the lady crushed Thor's hammer and destroyed his hammer. But the Hulk just is a letdown. Every time I see the Hulk, I'm not into it anymore. It looks ridiculously CGI and just does not behave like the Hulk. Okay, the Hulk does not move or behave like that. I keep on telling people this over and over again. That is not the Hulk. I don't know what that is that they're trying to bring forward, but it does not remind me of the Hulk, right? But it is what it is. People love Thor Ragnarok for reasons unknown to me. Just to me, it was a letdown. I was looking forward to something really epic, and that piece of crap is not epic. Okay. So yeah, but having said that, I thought Captain America: Civil War was a very good movie. I saw Doctor Strange, and I liked some of the parts of the movie. Some of the parts of the movie kind of appealed to me somewhat. But all in all, Doctor Strange again didn't really. It just doesn't do it for me because I'm not that kind of person. I'm a person who has to be. It has to be kind of realistic. It has to have some kind of depth. And Marvel just doesn't do it for me. When the Avengers came out, everybody was hyped about the Avengers. I wasn't. It's just what it is. So. In fact, I don't think I watched the Avengers long after it came out. I wasn't hyped for the Avengers. I was hyped for Man of Steel. I was hyped for Man of Steel. You know what I'm saying? And Man of Steel did not let me down. Okay? I was hyped for Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman did not let me down. Neither the theatrical cut nor the ultimate cut. I would say though the ultimate cut is better. I will say that for people who need a flow. For me, my mind's a very active mind, so I really enjoy Batman v Superman, and I'm still going back to this day and seeing things in that movie that I missed. That's just how crazy that movie is. But I think that some people just can't appreciate. I mean, Zack Snyder got me to like Superman. I did not like Superman. I did not like the Christopher Reeves version of Superman. I hated it. Okay? This guy, Lewis and Clark dude, he made me like Superman again because it was funny. It was more of a comedy, kind of sitcom kind of thing. He made me like Superman. Okay? Then Smallville made me like Superman. I mean, I was blown away by Smallville. Smallville made me love Superman. And then to see that kind of Smallville-like Superman on the screen, that's how Man of Steel was. It was mostly like, it reminded me of Smallville for a good portion of it. And then we saw Kal-El in his full power and everything. It's just awesome. I love this. I love this version of Superman more than any other version of Superman I've ever seen. I'm not a Superman fan, period. Okay? I'm not a Batman fan either. But Michael Keaton made me like Batman. Before that, I did not like Batman. And I haven't liked Batman since. Anyway, and on that note, you guys have a great one.